Member for Drysdale.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I stand to speak on this bill as this is a very important issue, especially in the electorate of Drysdale, in which we unfortunately do have a large number of domestic violence and sexual violence and family violence occur, which is why I'm very committed to stepping forward and also do believe male leadership is needed in this space, and I intend to continue in that pursuit, Madam Speaker. In line with that, I spoke last week very sincerely about some ideas and thoughts I have that could work, and we've heard the opposition call for bipartisanship. I would ask them to act accordingly as well, and that I do believe there's a lot of ideas in here, and we do need to work together in this space. So I do receive a very large number of domestic violence. I notice, I'd say it's usually once people have decided to actually leave is when they will come into my office, or if they are chasing justice for historical abuse. And so I know there is a large number of people that would be currently being impacted and victims of coercive control, manipulation, financial, we'll call it financial violence, financial abuse. And these are all forms of violence, which, as the member for 𝙍𝙀𝙇𝙀𝙍 did discuss, and I do agree that it is a very large range of, there's a very large spectrum of family violence that occurs. I also I get a lot of information from neighbours who come in as they report they report their neighbour who's abusing their partners, their children. And so regardless of what the data says, which is shocking as itself, I know through my own personal experience in the electorate that it is at a shocking rate. I will also acknowledge too that DV does happen to both genders. However, there is a vast difference to the damage that a man can inflict. And that is where, for me, yes, domestic violence can happen to men. I've worked in the welfare space with the military as well, and men can certainly have severe damage both emotionally and physically. However, the vast majority is perpetrated by men. And if you look at just the size of myself to some of my colleagues, I'll compare me and the member for Wanguri. It's quite simple, Madam Speaker. A man can do and cause such horrendous damage when domestic violence is carried out. And so let's face reality, men. Let's face the reality. I speak about the strength that a man has and the responsibilities that come with that. That is also facing this issue, and that when men perpetrate domestic violence, particularly to women, they can and they will do much more severe damage. And so, as men, we must face that, and we must challenge each other and remind each other what it means to be a man, Madam Speaker. Because domestic violence, in my eyes, has no place in what it means to be a man and what it means to be masculine. I do support this legislation as it targets people breaching and repeatedly breaching their DVOs. And let's remind ourselves why DVOs are in place. They have been put there to lower the risk of reoffending, and so I have no issue in giving those measures some teeth for enforcement, and so that when perpetrators break their DVOs, they know there will be a consequence. And it goes back to a core message of our government, which is essentially a philosophical standpoint that we believe there should be consequence for action. And so if you break those orders, and that you would knowingly break those orders, there will be consequences. And I think that's a very important aspect. We discussed time of punishment. We could discuss time of punishment all day, and I stand on the point that probably further than most would in the chamber, in that serious times of punishment is needed to induce change. However, I support the fact that there will be at least a minimum of time now to let people know that what they've done is wrong. And so, Madam Speaker, when we're left with this scourge on our society of domestic violence, why is the home breaking down? The Country Liberal Party, at its core, believes in the family home being fundamental to a healthy society. And that family home evolves, it changes, as time's gone on, and how that looks, how it's made up, but it still doesn't change what that family home means to a healthy society. And that's where we're raising our children, and where places of safety, love and nurture and education for our children. And it is why I'm so supportive of those traditional family values. And I don't mean in the traditional makeup, I mean in the traditional values that is enshrined in the home. And we need to be pushing that, and this bill speaks to that. We're saying if you threaten the sanctity of the safety of that home, then the law will punish you. And I think that's quite an important piece. People need to know that we as a government value the sanctity of that home, and we will take actions against anyone who does threaten it. And it's important for our children to know that as well. Our children need to know, especially the ones who today, and unfortunately, in probably every single person's electorate here, there will be children who view domestic family violence in one of its many forms. And so we need to send a message to them too, so that they know what a parent is doing or a carer is doing is not right. So, Madam Speaker, I thank the Minister for her work. I thank the Minister for her ongoing advocacy and tenacity for change in this space. I welcome the reforms, and I welcome our government's approach. I myself will continue to learn more, I will continue to advocate, and I will continue to attempt to be a man that stands up in this space and pushes for change that we need to have. Thank you, Madam Speaker.